Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Big Future Live. Tonight, we're back with another Big Future Live community night event, navigating your future as an AAPI student. So get those questions ready and welcome to Big Future Live.
Everybody starts somewhere, and life after high school is your first step to what comes next. So while everyone's future may look different, and there are tons of options to choose from, just remember it's getting started that matters. And Big Future is here to help you take the first step. You can check out careers you're interested in, find colleges based on what's important to you, and even discover ways to pay for it all. So when you're ready to get started, Big Future has the information you need to make the right decision for you. Because when life feels uncertain, your future doesn't have to. Let's begin exploring. Your future, your way.
Hi, everyone. My name is Greg Rafal. I use he, him pronouns, and I work here on the Big Future team. I'm going to be your host for this evening, and so excited to welcome you to our second Big Future Live community night. This is a space for students just like you to ask their college and career questions and also get personalized answers and hear from perspectives that have your unique lens. So, first off, I just want to thank all of you for joining us tonight. I know we're all busy, we have a lot going on, but you decided to spend your time with us tonight, and we are very grateful. For those of you who don't know, Big Future Live is a series of virtual community events, not webinars, virtual community events, where we connect you with college reps, career experts, and peers to help you plan for life after high school. Big Future Live was created so that you can plan your future your way. So tonight, again, it's not a webinar. Tonight, you're not going to sit through a bunch of slides. We don't have a long presentation to give you. This is a virtual community powered by students like you, parents like you, and of course, your questions. This conversation is also on the heels of World Mental Health Day. So as we dig in, we hope everyone feels like they have the support and guidance they need to plan their next steps. And if you need additional support, we have free resources on our site, and Big Future is here for you. We only have 45 minutes tonight, and we already have a ton of folks who are joining. So let's go ahead and get started and meet our guests for today. Awesome. Well, we're just going to go down the line. I'm going to ask each of you to introduce yourselves. Tell us your name and your heritage or background. Tell us what you do or where you go to school. And then in one word only, how would you describe your college? How would you describe your college and career planning process as part of the AAPI community? And can I just say, as a Filipino American myself, very excited for this panel, very excited for some of the questions that we're going to get as well. And Angela, I'm going to kick it to you to kick us off.
Thanks, Greg. Hi, everybody. My name is Angela Bugayong, and I'm the Chief Program Officer for Students Rising Above. I'm Filipino American, and one word to describe my college application process, just lonely. Yeah.
We'll have to dig into that, Angela. Yeah. Thanks for sharing. Linda, how about you?
Hi, my name is Linda Tremarman, and I'm a senior research scientist at Wellesley College. I grew up in California, though, so all you West Coasters, I'm also on the East Coast. I am a Thai American first generation scholar, and I'm so happy to be here. I go by she, her pronouns, too.
Thanks, Linda. And in one word, how would you describe your college and career planning process as a member of the AAPI community?
Absolutely. I am going to choose expectations.
Oh, okay. Okay, great. Thank you.
Greg, can I just add, I use she, her pronouns also, and I am currently in California, but I used to live on the East Coast, so completely opposite. Living in California now.
Thanks, Angela. And Nehemiah, last but not least.
Hi, I'm Nehemiah. I use he, him pronouns. I'm Taiwanese American and from New York City. And I'm also a Big Future Scholarship winner of 2021. I'm currently a junior at the University of Michigan, and I study CS and math, and I'm also a software engineer intern at Robinhood.
Great. Thanks so much, Nehemiah. And thank you all for being here. I just know you have tons of advice and insights to share with our audience. And really tonight is all about getting some of those questions answered. Before we get to those first, I want to hear from our audience a little bit. I want to know, what are you most interested in learning about today? So you're going to have a quick poll that pops up on your screen, and tell us, what are you most interested in learning about? Is it how identity plays a role in planning for college? Are you interested in knowing how identity plays a role in your career? Maybe you have questions about identity and your well-being or mental health. Or maybe you're looking for AAPI or Asian American Pacific Islander resources that can enhance your college or work experience. Or maybe you're like, that all sounds great, I'm in the right place, all the above. While you're taking a moment to answer that, let's just talk about how tonight is going to work. So there is an Ask a Question box on the bottom of your screen, right about here, where you can type in your questions. Big Future Live is all about getting your questions answered. So we actually have some folks on the back end. They're not on screen, but they're busy on the back end going through all the questions that are coming up. And they're monitoring that, categorizing, and we're going to get to as many of your questions as possible. Also, if you miss anything during tonight's event or have to walk away from your computer, tablet, phone, or whatever, don't worry, the recording is going to be available later on demand if you go to bigfuture.org/live. All right, so we're starting to see some answers come in. No surprise here. You all are interested in all of the above, but I do see many of you are also interested in how your identity plays a role in planning for college. So you're in the right place. We have folks here who are ready to share, ready to answer some questions. So what do you think, panel? Are you ready? All right, let's get to it. All right, so I'm going to kick us off yet, and I have a question. How does your Asian American Pacific Islander background and experiences and identity, has that impact your college or career choices? Angela, I'm going to start with you.
Yeah, that's a really great question. I'm thinking back from when I applied to colleges. I was a biology major, or I thought I was going to be a biology major, because that was the expectation. And thinking about Linda's one word, expectation, that's a really good word, because it was expected for me to become a doctor, right? And I always thought that I wanted to be a doctor. So I did look for, I was, searching for colleges that aligned to my career goals. And in addition to where I felt like I had a community. So people that looked like me was important. So I did some research around demographics, and then also added my family expectation to be near family. So one of my one word answer to Greg's question was lonely. I transferred into my new high school when I was the second half of my junior year of high school. So that the college application experience is completely lonely, because my counselor didn't know me, my peers didn't know me, my teachers didn't know me. So that's why I use lonely. So I was so far away from my immediate family. My mom and stepdad were there, but my family, right, from California. So my mom actually was like, I think you need to go to school in California near your grandparents, right? So you can live next to your grandparents. So the expectation was to live with my grandparents. So that limited my school choice.
That's great, Angela. Thanks for sharing. Linda or Nehemiah, how about you all? I would love to hear how your identity has kind of impacted either your career or your college choice too.
Yeah,
Do you want to go
sure.
first, Linda?
For sure. Thank you. So expectation, definitely. I had that the main buckets of doctor, lawyer, engineer, business, the professions, the things that you can see on the media for immigrant, parents to come here to the U.S. and there's only a limited number of careers that are actually presented out there that are quote unquote successful. And so in a way, you're kind of fulfilling the stereotypes that people have said that, oh, Asian Americans do well in these areas, and why don't you go with the easier path, the path that is well known? And so I would say a lot of times it was just like the limited information that people were getting about all the different kinds of careers and future, kind of collegiate experiences as well. I mean, when you're in another country, you also only hear about certain colleges from abroad. When you come to the U.S., there are so many more options, like state colleges and liberal arts colleges, things that you don't really hear from abroad. And so the expectations, at least back when I was trying to go navigate school. I know that Angela said that you were gonna. People were expecting you to live with family. I also thought I was going to live with family. I didn't think I should even apply to any colleges that were away from family, and I actually secretly applied to some colleges away from family. And thank goodness I did, because I ended up going to a college that was 6 hours from my family, and my family let me go because they thought it was better for my future. But if I was afraid to ask them for the permission, because I thought I was expected to stay home and to take care of my little brothers and and to just keep it affordable no matter what, to stay at home and not like be in a dorm. But I actually was surprised by my family that decided that they were going to take a chance and let me out of the nest. So I encourage that for everybody here to not necessarily do things in secrecy, but to maybe open up their minds to some potential, opportunities that you can decide later. Like, apply now, decide later if you want to do that or not. You don't have to decide when you're applying. So
that's great advice, Linda. I think so many students out there think that, there's just this one path and you have to stick to it, but there's a lot of exploration, there's a lot of opportunity out there. And even if you do think there are expectations, have that conversation with your parents, because it could help open the door to other opportunities. Awesome. Our next question is from Brianna, and Brianna wants to know, how do I find campuses that embrace diversity and provide a supportive environment for AAPI students? And have you experienced any discrimination or even racism in school or in environment? And if you're comfortable sharing how you navigated that. Angela, can I pass this one to you?
Yeah, I always tell students Big Future has a really great resource, and it has demographics on the percentage of students, and specifically, students from different backgrounds. So that's one place to look, really Big Future. And then also depending on what your major is, I would just call them. Call that department and ask, like, hey, what percentage of students are, Asian American or Asian, right? Like, and they'll they should tell you what percentage. If not, there are ways to look for that information as well. And talk to students. If you know any students on that campus, talk to them and ask them if they've experienced, what the demographic breakdown is, but also if they've experienced racism on that campus, the campus that you're looking at. I went to school in the late 90s, so things have changed. And I was specifically looking for a school that had representation of people that look like me. So I can't say that I faced any racism on campus. So I can't answer that question. Yeah.
Thanks, Angela. And we have a follow-up from Brianna. How do you navigate your identity and expectations from maybe other peers on campus or faculty? How would you respond to that? And Linda, do you want to chime in here?
Sure. Well, to answer the previous question too, I went to a school that was predominantly, I mean, there's a high prevalence of Asian Americans. I went to Berkeley, and so I experienced the opposite of what I experienced in high school, where I was a minority. I lived in Los Angeles, and I was a minority in my school. It was predominantly Latina and African American, and I went to a school that actually there were people that looked like me. And one trick is to actually look at the course offerings. Is there an East Asian languages department? You know, like for instance, I never got a chance to go to learn Thai, like to write Thai and read Thai growing up. And then they actually had courses like that at Berkeley, but they don't have that in most universities, you know. And so if you're looking for a particular cultural heritage clubs, you can look at the clubs on college campuses. And yeah, there's so many different ways to look up their social media groups as well. You can kind of see like what kind of, you know, chats are there and what kind of, resources are there for people to onboard, you know, newcomers that are there, like affinity groups that are like them. Yeah. Hope that was helpful.
Thanks, Linda.
Yeah, to add on to that,
yeah, go ahead,
I also go to a pretty large public school, the University of Michigan. And I feel like because it's such a large demographic, there's a wide diversity of people to meet. And there's also just a lot of people like ourselves, right? So there's like a lot of clubs such as Asian American, or it's like called AAA. I forgot the acronym, but there's also like a club for like each ethnic group, like Chinese Student Association or Taiwanese American Student Association. And they always have a lot of activities like just board game nights or like even a dumpling night. And so, yeah, I think if you go to a big university, you probably have more likelihood of being able to find those type of clubs.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that, Nehemiah. Our next question is from Yuan. And apologies if I'm mispronouncing your name, but they want to know, how should we talk to our family about attending our dream college if they're fixed on the idea of staying close to home? Linda, I want to call on you at this one because you mentioned it in your earlier response. Yeah. Talk us through like what that conversation actually looked like.
Yeah, well, this is an advice for almost convincing your parents of any type of thing. If you can figure out what their goal is and what their motivation is for, you know, really liking a particular concept or a future for yourself. Like for instance, they really want you to go to a college that specializes in engineering, and you could kind of accentuate that. Although you might be really interested in environmental science, it happens to have that department as well. But you could say, oh, I can explore my engineering options as well as these other things that could be really helpful in navigating my career, and kind of showing them that you have that feeling of, you know, kind of filial piety, like, oh yeah, I know you care about this aspect of me. And these colleges, you know, seem to be ones in which I have a good mix of things that I know you would think is safe, like a productive use of my time, but also things that I could actually spread my wings and you know, look into other options that are outside the box. And I think another way to do it, although it depends on the family, like if there's other peers of yours, your parents that admire these other families, and these families are also considering those colleges, sometimes the peer, you know, influence of, you know, other parents say that's a really cool art school, and it won't be as scary if you're the only kid that wants to go to that art school, you know, for instance. So digging up more information about that college, that dream school that could really meet your parents' expectations of your future in ways that they would understand and embrace and not feel too worried about it, the uncertainty of it, I'd say.
That's great advice, Linda, and great question to Yuan. I do want to pause for a moment. We have a lot of Big Future ambassadors who are watching tonight, and so I just want to shout out to all of our Big Future ambassadors for joining and for submitting questions as well. For those of you who don't know, our Big Future ambassadors are peer leaders, our high school leaders who spread the word about Big Future and all of our resources and tools to other students in their community. So shout out to our ambassadors who are joining tonight. Our next question is from Sahaj, and Sahaj wants to know, what do you do in a situation where you're feeling pressure from your parents to choose a certain career path, which you maybe don't think is the right fit for you? Angela, what do you think?
Yeah, that's a really great question. I know that a lot of students may face this. At Students Rising Above, we are really about helping the students define what success looks like for them. And oftentimes it doesn't match their parents' definition of success. So it is really just, learning how to navigate, to Linda's point, like what are your parents' like end goal, right? What do they want to see you do and be, and most importantly, do they want, of course, they want you to be happy. So I think it is like I think of it as like a business plan, like, oh, this is actually what I want to do, and this is how it's going to fulfill me, right? And at the same time, it can help the family by X, Y, and Z. It is, really, and also college is a time to like really explore your career path. Cause I wanted to be a doctor, right? But when I got on the college campus and took a bunch of other courses, I realized I actually have another skill set and I have another passion. And at the end of the day, it is your life. So it is just really having those like difficult conversation with your parents about like, this is why this pathway is right for me.
That's a great response, Angela. Thank you. And I think a lot of our questions have been coming from like the student perspective, like how do I talk to parents? How do I think about these things? But I would love to know, and this is going to go to you, Nehemiah, like as someone who recently went through the process of planning for college and you're planning your career now, what tips do you have for parents who might be also helping their kids through this process? What would you want to hear?
Yeah, for sure. So I actually applied to like 29 schools.
Wow.
But my college admissions process, I forgot to mention my word. It was ambitious. And so personally, my parents didn't grow up here, so they kind of had no idea about the education system. And so I felt like a lot of it was just my self-research and kind of just shooting my shot at these colleges. So I think in terms of just looking for colleges, I think our parents just want the best for us, right? And so they look at these very high achieving dream schools and just look at the rankings and say, I want my kid to go here. But I don't really feel like that's true at all. I mean, even when I was applying, I kind of thought I wanted to go to like a super top ranked school. Not saying Michigan's not top ranked. It is a very good school, but I actually didn't expect to go here, right? But I think that we can truly find a fit in any school that we attend. And there's just so many pros and cons. It's not like a one thing fits all type of thing. So I just feel like everything will be all right. You know what I mean?
Totally, totally. There's a lot that goes into the process and the decision-making process. So thanks for that, Nehemiah, and thanks for sharing more about kind of how you've navigated it. Our next question is another question from Sahaj. And Sahaj's question is more about like scholarships for AAPI students and for international students as well. And Sahaj, I can offer some insight there. If you actually go to bigfuture.org, we have a tool called Scholarship Search in our scholarship directory, and there are over 23,000 scholarships on there that, and over $4 billion available in aid every year. So that's a really good place to start if you're looking for some scholarship opportunities. Another question we have from our audience is about mentorship. Why is mentorship important, and how can I find mentors that share my background and offer insight? Linda, what can you tell us about mentorship?
Yes, I mean, just what everybody's saying earlier, that sometimes parents aren't the only ones that are going to help us navigate our decision making. Our peers, our older family members, older cousins, aunts, uncles, college guidance counselors, your coaches, school nurse, all kinds of people could also, especially people who know you really well and who know what your passions are and what would make your wings just soar, if you were able to go down that path. So mentorship is really important for somebody. A true mentor is somebody that really wants the best for you and doesn't have anything to do with their legacy. Because a lot of times parents it's about the family legacy. It's about the family name. It's about, making sure that they are, thought of as good parents in the end. So it all goes back to them. But mentors are really, they in a way, they are a little less self-reflecting on it. They really want you to go down that path that would be best for you. And so definitely look into affinity groups in your at your schools, at your prospective schools as well. And there's also, maybe even like the summer program, like there's summer bridge programs, like Michelle Obama often talks about in her book. She went to summer bridge program as a first gen student, and it really helped her navigate the world of, the next step. And so sometimes it's from, these experiences that are a little outside of your family that you can kind of hear a different perspective about the pros and cons about certain majors or certain, paths. And it can help you also gain confidence in how to navigate those conversations with your family that might hold the purse strings or, might have something that will keep you from, really, being brave to choose certain paths. And hopefully that these mentors are going to be there for you throughout many different transitions, not just like, oh, senior year, okay, I give you advice and then you go off in the world. But hopefully it's something that you can kind of keep in touch with throughout, the college or post-life experience. It could be career, not just college. Maybe you're taking a gap year or two, to support your family or to just, maybe you don't have family support. So you have to be self-sufficient and you have to, navigate the world yourself. And those mentorships, those apprenticeships you might get on the career track are also so important. Sometimes people don't even go on the college track after they're, they find a career that needs apprenticeships or needs internships and they can go straight to their career. And, so sometimes the college track isn't for everybody either.
Can I add to Linda's answer, Greg?
Of course.
So there are a lot of community-based organizations out there that may be local to you that focus on mentoring. I know my organization here in the Bay Area, we have a mentoring component, but there is a national organization that focuses just on mentoring. So if you really want to find a mentor in your area or an organization that supports mentoring in your area, I would suggest you use that resource. It's mentoring.org, I think, or mentoring.org. And it's the National Mentoring Organization.
That's great. Thanks for that resource, Angela, and thanks for your response too, Linda. Our next question is from Tui Ten Lei Tran. And sorry again if I'm mispronouncing your name, but they want to know about financial aid. So how should students think about financial aid as they are planning for college? Angela, what do you think there?
Yeah, make sure you fill out the appropriate documents. Depending on what state you live in, there may be supplemental documents. If you're eligible to fill out the FAFSA, fill out the FAFSA. And then Greg just mentioned the Big Future Scholarship platform. You should search for scholarships on there. And then also, like, depending on your major, there may be specific scholarships that are only for your department. So I would look into each of the college's departments to see if they have special offerings. And then also the college specific, your college choice, right? Like they may have scholarships available to you. I don't know if anybody has anything else to add. Nehemiah, since you just completed FAFSA and financial aid, maybe you have something to add to that?
Yeah, for sure. So I think finances was probably like one of my biggest factors in choosing a college. And at first I couldn't even attend the University of Michigan because of its sticker price and because I was an out-of-state student and it was like a public school. And so I was actually committed to another college until I fortunately got the Big Future Scholarship. And so I just feel very grateful for, even being given that opportunity. And yeah, I think there definitely are more scholarships than you think. Like even through my school, I've gotten like another one, and there's like a returning student scholarship, and there are study abroad scholarships too. So I'm studying abroad next semester in Taiwan, actually. And so there's so many more scholarships than I expected, and they really help out, especially if you have your FAFSA. And yeah, I also would recommend to just minimize like loans. I only take out federal loans, and I also think that you can also take a lot of classes at community colleges and they transfer over. So that has saved me so much money because I've taken like a lot of credits there. And definitely your state schools will always provide, or either like state schools or like pretty famous private schools usually provide the most aid, right? Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that. Yeah,
I second that suggestion about going to community colleges, because I mean, you can stay close to home in the summers. You can just kind of help your progress in moving forward in your degree program. And also I wanted to bring up work study. You can advance, get job related skills, get those supervisors to learn about your skill set and could really help you navigate also in a different frame where your skills could be best, put to use in the future. And so work study from different departments. You can even explore majors in different departments as well. And it could be a lot of fun too, work study.
Can I just add on to that too? Yeah, I plus one everything everybody's saying. And then there are organizations, again, like Students Rising Above, that have supplemental aid. We provide our students with additional financial support. So on top of their aid that they're already getting from their school, we are, unlike other organizations that send it directly to the institution, we actually send it to the students. So to cover like basic needs, like housing, food, transportation, all of the extra things that some colleges may not cover in their financial aid package.
That's great. That's great. Great advice from all of you. So, Tui, this is just to tell you there are a lot of resources out there for scholarships and financial aid. I'll add one more, bigfuture.org. If you go to our Pay for College section of Big Future, not only will you see more information about scholarships, but you'll also see a lot of different videos and articles about financial aid as well. We're also having an event on November 1st, all about funding your future, where you can ask even more questions about financial aid and and scholarships. Our next question is going to go to you, Linda, and this is from Arleith. Arleith wants to know, and you touched on this a little bit, about kind of multiple pathways and different ways to kind of explore your career and your future. But Arleith wants to know, how do I know that college is right for me?
Well, if you're a senior and you're feeling burnt out, and you're not in that mode of, oh gosh, I can't wait to finally choose my own classes, or I can't wait to be in that dorm experience, or sign up for those social groups, or you don't pour through the college catalogs thinking, oh my gosh, I didn't know that there was such a class like that, or that you're not talking about it with your friends a lot in the hallways. You feel kind of sinking, feeling like, oh, I don't think that's really right for me. I'm not sure. Sometimes going to college, it's about timing. It's about maybe it'll be right for you in a couple of years after you explore something else and see if the grass is greener on that other side of exploring that internship or that career or that family business, staying local, staying there, helping your family. Maybe you do need to see if the grass is greener, and that'll help you actually enjoy and not take for granted your time in college. If you're not ready, why invest all that money and energy and time if you're not ready? And it's okay to go to college at non-traditional times. It's such a more normative thing now to maybe go to college and even work part-time as well. There's like non-traditional colleges where there's evening classes where you can have a full-time job. There's the commuter colleges. You don't have to go to residential colleges, and so it could be that it's at the type of college that you're not sure. It could be that you need to do the work and the school at the same time, and maybe you'll have a longer time, going through college. I had family members that did that. It took them many, many years to get through college because they needed to work. And there were actually scholarships specifically for people that have non-traditional, kind of backgrounds, that might be returning students, for instance. And so, and there's college guidance counselors to help people that are non-traditional students as well, that are reintegrating from the workforce. And so, college is going to be there even if you decide to come 10 years later. Maybe you can have a family first, and maybe you decide, actually, I want to do college after I do these other things that are going to help my family, or get married and have kids, or do something else beforehand. It's never too late to choose college, and there's so many different ways to do college. You could do the long haul, part-time after work, or you could do like the traditional residential college 4-year, on campus experience, and all of those things are open and ready for you to consider.
That's great, Linda. Yeah, I think just to echo what you say, there are multiple pathways out there for students. It's not always limited to a 4-year degree. There are certificate programs. There are 2-year opportunities as well. And one way to start exploring some of those is actually on Big Future as well. We have a quick quiz, a career quiz. It takes less than 10 minutes to take and asks you about your interests and what you like to do. And then once you take that, it will give you 30 different options that match your interests, and a lot of jobs that maybe you haven't even thought of before. And it'll show you what the most common education levels are for those, and how much your median yearly income for those positions as well. So that's one way that you can start exploring other options and multiple pathways for you, Arleith. So hopefully that was helpful for you. And thank you for the question. Our last question before we get to my final question that I have for everyone is going to go to you, Nehemiah. And this is from Brianna. And Brianna wants to know, would you say that knowing what you want to major in helps you choose what college to go to? Or does it matter because you can change your major at any time? What do you think?
Yeah, so I think definitely knowing your major would help. I chose the University of Michigan because I knew we had a really good CS program, but definitely it doesn't have to be so set in stone. College is a great time to explore. I actually wanted to take a wide breadth of different types of classes like econ, psychology. I was considering being a cognitive science dual major. And I didn't even come in knowing I would study math, but somehow I just declared a math major like a few weeks back. And so, yeah, I think it would definitely help just in terms of degree progression. Like it would probably be really hard to be pre-med and then like pre-law, but it'd be like more easy to switch from, I don't know, electrical engineering to like biomedical engineering. So if it's not like a complete 180, you should be good. And it definitely helps though. Yeah.
Thanks for that, Nehemiah. And there are a lot of different schools out there, Brianna, and college is a time for you to explore. So like Nehemiah said, if you decide later that you want to change your path, like there are going to be options for you at the institution. But if you are also the type of student that knows exactly what they want to do and you want to pursue that and you want to use that as a factor for choosing a school, that's great too. There's not just one way of choosing what school is going to fit for you. It takes a lot of self-reflection too, but know that there are a lot of options out there, and hopefully there's some support out there. There is from Big Future to help you on that journey. So we're almost at 45 minutes past the hour. I can't believe that time has flown by so quickly. I have one last question for each of you. We've talked a lot about how our identity shows up in our college planning process and our career planning process, talking to parents as well. But I want to know from you, what is the one thing that you wish you knew as a high school student as you were navigating your future as a member of the AAPI community? What is that one thing that you wish you knew as a high school student? Nehemiah, since it was most recent for you, I'm going to start with you.
I think, well, I was going to give a goofy answer. I was going to say you should definitely sleep because when I was in high school, dude, it was so hard. I had to commute. I had like 5.5 hours of sleep a day. But then once I was in college, I could sleep 8 hours a day. And it was like, it's truly the most important thing you can do for your body. Like sleep is like the best thing you can do for your body. So don't skip sleeping. And I guess in terms of like AAPI perspective, I think sometimes we just shouldn't put too much pressure on yourselves to overachieve. Like I know how, I guess generally Asians really work hard, have a very hard work ethic and are pretty ambitious. But, sometimes you gotta just take a step back and enjoy life,
What I'm hearing from you, Nehemiah, is take care of yourself. Tend to those basic needs to make sure that you're healthy and in a place to learn and take that next step. So great advice, Nehemiah. Linda, what about you?
I'd say definitely, just like you were saying, mental health is really important. Mental health is health, and navigating this part of your life can be very stressful. But knowing that sometimes your family might think that they want you to be happy, but sometimes the underlying subtext is they want you to be successful. Sometimes that doesn't mean happiness. And so what I wish I had known back when in high school is that, if you follow that path of finding something that helps you feel like you have meaning in your life, there's some kind of meaningful thing that you're going to do with yourself, whatever path it might be, that'll lead eventually to kind of feeling, happiness and contentment, and success. It could be defined in so many different ways. And sometimes it's a long path for the whole family to realize what was best for that person. And just to have faith that you will find that path and that you will arrive and you will find your superpower.
That's great, Linda. Find meaning. And Angela, close us out here.
Yeah, I think that in the AAPI community and in my experience, like when I was in high school, asking for help was very hard for me. So I wish I asked for more help. And there's just a ton of resources out there and organizations and counselors and advisors and mentors. There's a community out there that you can ask for help. And it's also something that I wish I had done when I was in college, ask for help. And then knowing that there is that leave of absences are okay. If you need to take care of your mental health, that is okay, right? And colleges and universities have a process and a system where you can take a leave of absence if you need one. So I wish I had done that because I needed one to deal with family situation. I think the overall theme is take care of yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Great advice from all of you. And thank you all so much for being on this panel, answering questions and sharing more about your experiences and insights. Unfortunately, that is all the time that we have for today. And thank you to our audience for asking so many thoughtful questions. We'd love to hear how today's session went. After the event closes, you'll be automatically directed to a feedback survey. It's very short. Please fill it out. Let us know how we can make events like this even better in the future. And if you missed anything during today's session, don't worry. You can review the recording later at bigfuture.org/live. And you can also see more events that we have coming up, including an event next week all about how to write a great college essay. So again, bigfuture.org/live, find the recording and also see the full calendar of events. Thanks everyone so much for joining us and have a great night.
Thank you for coming.
Bye-bye.
Bye.